Good morning, friends. This is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope that you are looking forward to Thanksgiving. Even if you're home alone, even with friends or family, I hope that you have plans to make it enjoyable. Not a time of complaint, but a time of thankfulness. What I want to share with you, because this is about this time of the year, because we're getting together more frequently with family and friends. And when we go out, we're going to be exposed to people who don't take care of their bodies, or for some reason or not, they just get sick a lot. So to protect ourselves, I'm going to share with you some of the things that we do. That does not mean you have to do it. It's just one of those things that is a good idea. The first thing is, make sure you have tissues or hankies on hand. Every week that I've been going, over the last month and a half, I do have some cloth hankies that I've made, so if they ever run out of paper products, I'm safe. But I always try to buy a box of those. And I've been going with him every other week lately. So we've got like 4 or 5 boxes on hand, because when you get sick or just a runny nose, you go through a box within a very short time. So I like to have some on hand. But having the cloth hankies on hand is a big plus. Now, you don't have to buy special hankies. I do make my own. You can just use old sheets that you're no longer, like flannel sheets are great, or cotton sheets. Don't use the polyester, but the other ones are great. And then after you use them, whether it's paper tissues or cloth hankies, throw the tissues in the trash right away. Don't let it sit on your table. And the cloth ones, throw in a container for washing later, because we don't need to spread these germs around. One thing that drives me nuts if my husband's not feeling good is he sometimes forgets, and I get annoyed. But that's part of life. We do forget when we're not feeling well how to make sure we protect others when we're ill. So the first thing is, make sure you have your hankies on hand. If it's paper, throw them away. If it's cloth, put them in the hamper, put them in a special or a separate bin. So all you have to do is just dump it into the washer. You can use bleach, you can use OxyClean, you can use vinegar in the rinse, whatever it is you use, do that. And the best thing I would recommend is don't use anything with scents, because that can irritate your sinuses. It's really up to you, but it's your choice. The other thing that we do, and I do not like having to use products online and products that we purchase, but we have Clorox. I didn't buy this until 2 years ago, or when COVID arrived. So I prefer Lysol, and we did have some Clorox on hand, and both of them 99.9% kills bacteria. So either one is fine. I like the Lysol lavender because it's a better scent. I prefer to make my own. But when we're sick, I don't take any chances. Handles, we spray handles. I'm a mad woman. I'm not a germaphobe, because I don't have a problem with, somebody sneezing here or there. But when they're sick, I'm awful. My daughter came home from college one year, and she was so sick. And so her bedroom was downstairs, and after she'd go down, I would spray the door handles. I would spray the toilet. I would spray everything. And then when she went back to college, I sprayed everything down and I cleaned it all up. And it wasn't to insult her. It was to protect my husband and I. Plus, that was a time when a week later I was scheduled for a procedure. And the last thing you want to do is go have a procedure and be sick, because you won't have your procedure most of the time. It depends on your situation. It depends on a variety of things. But now, I think it's just one thing to be proactive for. So some things that I do as a preventative measure. We eat lots of veggies. I eat more than my husband. So what I do for him this year, starting in October through March, I purchase a quality multivitamin for him, because he just doesn't consume the number of vegetables I do. When we put them on the plate, my portion of vegetables is bigger than his. So here we have some asparagus, and this is out of season here in New Hampshire. So they're being imported from Peru. But I love asparagus. Thanksgiving's around the corner. So mushrooms. Mushrooms are always available. Grab them. They are a good product to have on hand. More importantly, make sure you have your greens. I just washed up, oop, there go the tissues. I just washed up a big package of greens that I just picked up at the farm stand last week. And I put them in cold storage until I was ready because I had other greens to finish up. And then I just wash them and I pick out any pieces that might not be good. Eat your greens. I'm not trying to be your mother. I'm just trying to say these are things that help us. No guarantees, but it will help. Other things that you can do. Your fruits, okay? Get your citrus fruits. Get your various fruits that you can. I've got apples here. I have pomegranate. I have a variety of them. The blueberries. Eat your fruits. Okay, so you don't like fruits, or you're telling me it's really expensive, Laura. You know what? You're right. When I go to the grocery store or to the farm stand, I don't come home spending $25 from that portion of the store, because when I go, it's like every other week or once a month. I spend a lot of money, and then I make sure I put it away properly so that it hangs on. Like the blueberries, you can throw in your freezer. Berries, I've got raspberries, blackberries I picked up. I've even picked up some kale today. It's really, really pretty. Isn't it lovely? Okay, those of you who think that kale is awful, what you can do with kale, if you like having smoothies, and even if you don't, you can take your kale and put it in the oven. Put it at the lowest temp possible. And just put a couple of these in there. When it's dry, put it through your coffee grinder. Grind it up. You can take those items and put it in your oatmeal, if you eat oatmeal. I hope you do. Put it in your eggs. Sprinkle some on your eggs if you are an egg person. You can do all kinds of stuff to get the nutrients. It's not the same as fresh, but it's better than nothing, and it's good for you. Now, some other things that you can be adding to your diet, and I'm going to talk about herbs, okay? Here, I picked these up today. I already had plenty, but I picked up some fresh rosemary and thyme. You can get packages like this at your grocery store. In the produce aisle, hanging up, you'll find these. The two that I recommend is rosemary and thyme. Now, there's a variety of others that you can use as well. But these two are great for your immune system, and all you do is you take a sprig of both. Put them in a teacup, put boiling water over it, let it steep for at least 10 minutes. Get all that goodness out of this. And if you have chickens, you can throw them out to the chickens later too, because there'll still be stuff remaining. You can add these to a tea, which will benefit you and help with any bacterial or viral things. That's what they're good for. Now, in reference to herbs, ginger and turmeric. Now this is turmeric. You can't really see, but if I break it, you'll see the orange inside. That's your turmeric. If you don't have dried turmeric, you can use this. You can make a tincture out of it, or you can dry it yourself. It's kind of it's small, so it's hard to cut down and stuff. So just take a knife and cut it along, and you will have some turmeric, which is really good. And if you make a tincture, and I'll be showing you how to make tinctures later, but you can make tinctures for this, and then you just add a few drops, whether to your coffee, although my husband won't do it to his coffee. I've tried one time, but you can put drops of stuff into the drinks you have. And then your ginger, this is important, and even though we're not big fans of ginger, we use ginger in the cold season between October through March or April. The other thing we do is we try to stay out of public places. Today we went to the grocery store and I was actually kind of amazed. We got there around 9 o'clock and we were out of there by 9:20, 9:30 or something. It wasn't very crowded. So we weren't, you know, here it is, a couple days before Thanksgiving. I was like, wow, it's not crowded. But my husband said, I need to go get some milk. And so I said, okay, go ahead. He goes, would you come with me? He just likes me to get out of the house, and I really don't care. And I really don't like going to public places, but you know, it's not going to hurt me to get outside. It's a gorgeous day. So get those kind of things. And I will show you how to make tinctures out of ginger root, turmeric root, and a few other ones a little later. Elderberry syrup. I don't have any made right now. I don't want to forget to mention that. That is something that is great. It doesn't necessarily keep you from anything. It's just something that will help you during the cold, and it'll soothe your neck. The fire cider that I made, it's not finished yet. It's still brewing, and I shared how I made it a few videos back. So I will try to link that. Make sure you have some of that. But if you don't like it, what do? I'm going to be sharing more. But anyways, I want to focus on the herbs and teas. First of all, the teas that I recommend are yogi because they're non-GMO, they're organic, and they have a variety that you can have. So I keep them in a box. I generally don't drink these teas, but I have them on hand because if I'm not feeling good and I tell my husband, would you get me some chamomile tea? He can make it from the herb because I have chamomile, dried chamomile. He can make it from that. But if you don't have these herbs and you don't want to purchase them, you can go get some of these. There's about 18 teas in each box. Let's see, licorice root is good for a few things too, but honey lavender is great for stress because sometimes when we're not feeling well, we do get stressed out. So having something like that. I think I have chamomile, I have kombucha. I know I have more too. Let's see. Now another one is echinacea immune support. That's a great one to have on hand. Now I'm not making any commission on this. What I'm doing is trying to encourage you to take some notes. Just different things that you might be willing to try. And of course, tea is not, I think I dropped one on the floor. I'll have to go fishing for it later. But that is something you can have on hand, and it's easy. And if you're not feeling good, if you have somebody that's with you, they can go get that for you. You can say, hey, it's in the cupboard in this box, because I keep this. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but this is our coffee tea cupboard. And because I don't use it a lot, I just keep it right up there. And that's where all my teas are that are pre-packaged and pre-made. This is our coffee cocoa section. Oh, and I use molasses because that's really helpful and it's a nice sweetener, and a few other things. So those are some options that you have for teas that are ready made. Now, I've already talked about fruit. Make sure you get plenty of fruit in your diet. Make sure you get plenty of greens in your diet. And then other vegetables that you wouldn't even think to have. If you don't like beets, I get it. I never liked beets. But learn to cook it a little bit different, have a little bit of a sweetener to it, and you might find that you like it. So make sure you get in your vegetables, your potassium from your bananas and stuff. Before I get into these, this here is an immune support tea that I made when I had Lyme disease. When we get respiratory infections, or when the flu season, cold season, whatever season you want to call it, you want to have an immune type tea that is very soothing. This here I made, and it's equal amounts of dry herbs. You can get these herbs at your natural food store. I know that ours is Granite State Natural Food here in Concord. They're fabulous. They have a bunch of natural herbs. You go in there and you talk to somebody and they will get you whatever you need. There's oregano and thyme, which is my two main ones that I grow as well as purchase, because I wanted to show you what they have. So you got oregano, thyme, and rosemary. The rosemary and thyme is there. Oregano, make sure you have some of that. If you have lemon balm, add some of that in. Olive leaf, that's not very common around here, not even in the Granite State Natural Food Store. I just happen to have some. Hibiscus, I think they would have that too. So you could make this without the olive leaf, but you got oregano, thyme, rosemary, lemon balm, and hibiscus. Put those together if they're dried, and you can get these dried, equal amounts. So you might ask them for just like a little bag of each one. And then you just kind of mix it up. And then you have an immune support tea that you made. And you know what's in there. There's no additives, because some of the teas out there, you're not going to want to hear this, but there could be dust in it, like sawdust and stuff as a filler. You don't need sawdust in your diet. You just don't. Maybe it's a fiber, but you don't need it. You need these herbs far more than you need that. And if you want fiber, eat some asparagus, eat some greens, eat some kale. That's where you get your fiber from. And those are good natural fibers. And you do want the fibers. The sun's going to come in, so I'm going to pull this down just a little. All right. That's not cool. I'm going to try to make sure I don't get sunblocked here. Okay, so teas. Another tea blend that I make is just oregano and thyme. I use this too. And what I do is I make up different ones, and it's just, what am I in the mood for? So what do I do for a sweetener? Because some people don't like tea because it's like too earthy tasting. That's true. What we have is you can add honey, and I know I have a bigger bottle. This is a cream honey that you can put, it says honey cream, you can actually put on toast. If you're one of those who eats the brat diet, bananas, rice, apples, and toast when you're not feeling good, add a little honey to that toast, and that will help too. But you can use, and the cream honey is best for that kind of stuff. But regular honey, and I realized I didn't bring out the regular honey, but you know what honey looks like. Put about a teaspoon to a tablespoon for your flavoring, for whatever you desire, for your taste buds. I don't put a lot in. David puts more in than I do because he does not like tea. And that's okay, because the honey is really good for him, for his immune as well. Plus, if you're not feeling good, you can take a spoonful of honey, and that will help as well. One thing that I'm going to share with you is garlic. Infuse your garlic in some honey. And I'm going to be making some of this in another area, in another video. But you can infuse your honey, infuse your garlic in some honey. One thing that I am known to do is I'm going to go over here, see if I can get away from the sun. One of the things that you can do is take just a small pan, like a small frying pan, like you might make 1 egg in. Put a little bit of water in that. Chop up your garlic. Maybe cut a clove in half or in quarters. Throw that in there and put some honey in there. Just cook it up. And that garlic clove is going to soften. And you're going to be amazed at how good it tastes. It doesn't taste like fresh garlic. It tastes like fresh garlic with sweetness, and it is a delight. The first time I tried it, I'm like, this isn't going to be that great, but it truly is. It's really good. It's worth trying. So, I mean, if you put garlic in your foods and stuff, take 1 clove and try it. You might be surprised at how good it is, and it doesn't leave you with that garlic taste. So we've got some tea blends. I have a variety. I've got rubus. I've got a variety of teas, but I have a bunch in the cupboard as well. I really don't like this sun. It doesn't like me. I'm going to do something different here. It's getting dark. No, I'm going to turn the light on. Hold on. I'm back. So those are some things that you can do. Okay, those are just a few things that you can do naturally from things that you might find at the grocery store or the health food store. One of the other things that I recommend, if you get sore throats, now you can make your own elderberry, I can't even think today. I buy these type lozenges. That's the word I want. I buy these type lozenges. My favorite one is the Ricola Originals. They're like square. Those are my favorite when I have a sore throat. I also have these, they're called Sarah Zinc. It's an elderberry. These are great too. It does have a nice flavor. It's a little chalky, but not bad. It's actually not bad. I keep those. I keep one in my purse, and I keep others. Like you can see, I am stocked and ready to go. Others that I use, my husband likes a lemon flavor one, so I picked that up. I like, when I'm just have a sore throat but I'm not feeling sick, I like the cherry Ludens. I've always liked those as a kid, but just one of those if I have a sore throat because maybe I'm talking too much, or maybe it's just the weather. Those things are things that we like having on hand. So I have a couple of jars of these always on hand, and we both have them. He has them in his lunchbox. I have them in my purse. It's just something that we like to have, even when we're not feeling good and we just been out in the fresh air and it's like it catches us off guard or something. These are handy to do. But if you don't want to have those, best thing to do, drink your water. Drink as much water as you can without drowning yourself. That's what I recommend. And fruit juices too, but I would recommend fresh ones, but use whatever fruit juices that you're most comfortable with. But watch your labels for how much sugar, because you really don't want things with a lot of sugar or food dye, because there's dyes in there that are not good and can cause hyperactivity and stuff like that, most especially if you have little ones. Try to be careful there. The other thing that I want to remind you of, make sure you have a neti pot. We've had this for years. I want to get a new one, but this is still good. I'm not going out to buy a new one. We buy in bulk the saline packets. You can get these at Walmart, at CVS. You can get these at your local pharmacy. Our pharmacy, I don't go to the big name pharmacies. I go to a local one. They have this stuff on hand. You can do that, but you can also make your own. You can make your own saline solution, which is the next thing that I want to share, is that if you have the availability of a nebulizer, those are great. My husband and I have been dealing with asthma as of late. Part of it is we're outside a little bit more lately. I'm out there more than I usually am in the fall because of the chickens. I think I'm allergic to the straw and the hay and everything, because I come in, my nose is running. I'm okay knowing that that's what's causing it, because I get in, I drink some water, I might do a neti pot, or I just might sit back. But if it's really bad, you can get in the shower and it'll drain it out. But the neti pot is fabulous, most especially if you are dealing with the cold. I realize that some people don't like to use it because you got to go up one nose and, one nostril and then the other. And it really, the best part about it, it gets rid of all that mucus that drips down into the back of your neck, causing sore throats. So why sit there in misery? Why don't you take care of it once it gets started so you don't have to worry about it? But if you're like most people, usually the first part of the cold season, we're like miserable and stuff, and it's like, I don't understand what's going on, and then we got, ding, the light goes on. That's something that we do. I recently did buy a nebulizer because my husband's asthma is bothering him a lot more, partly because of some chemicals that are at his work. So what I did was I bought a nebulizer for him, and I will be making him little things. Now you should go to your doctor and find out. They can order you a saline type solution, and I will share what I'm using, which uses hydrogen peroxide in a saline solution, but there's a way to do it. So my recommendation is, if you have asthma, talk to them. Make sure you have your nebulizer treatments available now. Don't wait until you're sick, because the last thing you really, as a responsible person, is try to avoid going to the doctors when you're sick. Get a head start on this. One other thing that you can do, both my husband and I have a rescue inhaler, and I rarely ever use it. I have one in my purse, and I have one here in the house. That's all I need is two. You don't want to hoard up on these, because you only need as many as you need. If you're somebody who needs your emergency inhaler, your rescue inhaler, more than I do, which is, I got this about maybe a month ago. I haven't used it yet. But when I went and saw even my holistic doctor, she's an MD, and I told her, I said, I really need to replace my inhaler because it was like from 2012. And so I said, I really need one because when I was sick last year with the flu, I said, my daughter said, Mom, use your inhaler. I said, I don't have one, but that's all I had. And it helped a little bit, probably not as effectively because it was old, but I got a new one. So if I get sick, I'm going to do my best not to get sick. If you are one who gets asthma with your illnesses, make sure you have your rescue inhalers on hand. Your physicians who know you will prescribe them for you if you've seen them recently. If you haven't seen your doctor in a while, either make a telehealth appointment or go in and see them and go over the cold flu season concerns that you might have. Don't wait until you're sick because you don't know how busy it'll be. Plus, be kind. Don't make others sick because you waited too long. Be responsible today and get things in place. So some other things that we do, I've already shared the honey, the lice, All right, so I got the saline, I got that put away. So everything behind me. Oh, one other thing. One thing we do, and I'm not one that likes to throw things away all the time. I'd rather just wash my glasses. When people are sick and they want a cup of water with their medication or whatever they're taking for stuff, give them their water in one of these little tiny Dixie type cups. Get paper because those can be composted and throw it away. Put it in your compost bin and get rid of it because even your glasses, even though you might wash them in hot water, many people, me included, my husband as well, we just put them in the sink. But when people are sick, there is no time to just let them sit and fester. That's just my feeling. I realize that some people say, well, germs don't stay on surfaces. I don't care what people say. I feel that it's really important to be proactive and prevent sickness because what if you put it in the sink and somebody came along to wash it and they've got, hopefully they're using hot soapy water, but you don't know. So get some Dixie cups. Please get paper. It's better for our environment, even if you end up throwing it in the trash to be taken away. So those are some options. Now, some other things. I put together a little basket here. See, my little first aid basket. I'm going to share some things with you that I have. We take zinc from October through April. We add zinc to our supplements. Now, this is one that I purchase. Another thing I don't have in here is vitamin D and vitamin K. Take those together. Now, you might, I really don't like taking supplements. My husband does take the D and K. And I do have them because there'll come a time where I'm not going to be able to get enough vitamin D outside. I will go out there for 15-20 minutes, but it's not going to be enough. Like when I go out to the chickens now, today I was out there for quite a while. I cleaned their coop. I did a bunch of stuff out there with them. And then, so I was out there sufficiently because the sun comes in and stuff. You want to make sure you get out there as much as you can. Get out there, breathe that air, and open your windows a couple times a week, if not daily if you can. Make sure you get some zinc. That will help support your immune system. Some things that we use, and we do have some from last year. We buy a brand called Boron. There's a throat calm. Let me see if I can get them in the picture without a glare. A throat calm and a cold calm. You want to get these now. Or you might want to get things like, I guess there's other cold products out there. Things that make you feel comfortable. Get them now. But I'm going to be honest with you, and I think your doctors would tell you this too. These things are to help you through the cold. They're not going to heal it. Your body needs to, your immune system needs to fight the infection. These will help some of the symptoms. The one thing that I go to is the neti pot first, and even though I'm drinking a lot of water when I'm sick, and the hot teas with honey. Those are my go-to. But if it's so bad that you can't get comfortable, those are some things to have on hand. And I'm telling you, have them on hand now. Don't wait until you're sick, because by the time it might get to your house, if you order, there might not be any. Might not get here for 5 days. And the course of a cold or a flu could range from 2 to 5 days depending on you, maybe longer. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. I only know based on my experience. And I have kids with asthma, and I think I've shared in the past, we almost lost one of our daughters because of her allergies and asthma and stuff. My husband got influenza too at one point. It was like a couple months after my daughter, and it's like I knew the signs. And they get sick, and it's a horrible thing to watch. Be proactive. Talk to your doctor about your concerns, because everybody's needs for making it through the viral season, everybody deals with it differently. But now's the time to make that appointment with your doctor. And if you don't want to go in, and I totally get it, this is not something that they need an exam unless they need to hear that you're wheezing. I can hear wheezing from across the room. So, but I don't know if they can hear it through the telehealth. But those are some things to talk to them about now, maybe even last month. Get your medicines all in line. So I have my rescue inhaler, and my husband does too. Another thing is nasal sprays. My husband has them. We buy one box for each of us. We put our name on it. There's another one here that's all sealed. We do not, neither one of us have touched this. We haven't put our names on them yet. We don't share these. We might sleep together, we might kiss, we might do all that, but when somebody's sick, don't give me your cooties, and we don't share these. So get some of those on hand for yourself, or even if you only get one because you don't get sick very often, just have one or two on hand and watch the expiration date. Always have, always have your temperature, a thermometer, because, and most people have that, but when you call your doctor and you're sick, I don't know about you, I don't like going in when I'm sick. They need to know your vitals if you can give it to them. The biggest one is the temperature. The temperature doesn't mean that you have to go in. It just means that, okay, you have a temperature. That means your body's fighting something. How high your temp gets will determine, and your symptoms will determine if you need to go to the hospital. But why not prevent the hospital? They're overcrowded right now. And most especially the pediatric wards. This is the saddest thing that I read, is when COVID hit. Okay, if I tear up, please forgive me. They cut back in some of the pediatric units to make room for all the older adults. So now, as the pediatric patients are getting ill, there's no room. So do your due diligence in taking care of you and your children. And there's a virus out there for the kids. You're all hearing it. RSV, I believe it is. Take care of your kids. They are the most precious gift you have. But your life is a very special gift too. So let's take care of it. What else do I have here? Okay. Some of you might use a cough syrup. What I have is, this is an herbal bronchial support that I purchased, and I'll be making some of our own. And my husband uses this a lot, and it gets all sticky because when it pours out, even the other, it just gets sticky. That's the nature of it. And he doesn't mean to, but we both take a little bit of this every day, like a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, because of the allergies, and it helps the immune system. So what's in this? I can't read that fine print with the reduced lighting here. Make sure you have something for your bronchial to help your lungs. Now, another thing that I use all year round is I make turmeric with pepperine in it. Make sure, and that's black pepper. I mix them together, 1 part black pepper with 4 parts turmeric, and I make my own capsules. Now, if you don't want to make capsules, you can take, a teaspoon, tablespoon, throw it into your tea. Why not? It may not be sweet like maybe a floral type tea, but you take that, you add in some honey, and you're starting to get that turmeric milk tea, and you put a little bit of milk product that you can have, like goat milk for me, Oat milk I'm fine with, and my husband with regular. You can make a hot drink with turmeric, black pepper, honey, a little bit of ginger, a little bit of, oh, what's the other one? You can do horseradish too, a couple drops of that. But you put those together, the rosemary, all those kind of things. You make a little, you heat it up. Make sure that you get all that turmeric all kind of mixed in there really well. And you have a warm tea or a drink. And you might find that that is very soothing. Again, once you get sick, there is no guarantee that these things are going to heal you. These recommendations are to help build your immune system that maybe you should have started back in September. But these are things, if you start now, you can be ahead of the game. So another thing that we don't use, I picked up a new one because they expire. And I don't know how old it was. And I said, okay. So we were at Dollar General and I said, what do they got? They have some stomach relief. Some people get sick. I have not been sick like that in years. But you know what I did? I don't want to say it today and then be sick. This is kind of like a preventative just to have on the shelf. But some people get upset stomachs during all this. What I'm trying to recommend is, and I highly recommend, get the products that work for you. Be sure you have honey on hand because that's a nice sweetener and it's healing and it's good for your body. It's good for when you're sick. And I could go into all the details, but I'm not going to. Now, one other item, and you can make it, but your Vicks Vapor, okay? What you want to do is when you're not feeling good. My husband prefers to put it on his chest. And I said, no, get a pair of socks. We use old socks, and we put it at the bottom of our feet. We coat the feet with this. A little bit goes a long way. This goes right through your body. That's where it's key, is to put it on your feet, the bottom of your feet. And that will help you as well. Put some socks on because it will get greasy. And if you have really fancy sheets, you don't want to destroy those. But anyways, make sure you have some Vicks Vapor Rub. Seriously, it goes a long way. I think I have a couple of these, but I've had this for a while. And it smells great. And you can make your own. No, it's the eucalyptus in it is a little strong. But you can make your own eucalyptus. You can burn a little tea light with water on the top and a couple drops of eucalyptus. That'll help you as well. There are many things that you can do. And I realize there's a lot of people that just wait until they're sick. Or they say, oh, I'll never get sick. I generally don't get sick. But the one thing I know is don't say you never get sick and not be prepared in case you do. Because the one time you least expect it, or the time that you're near somebody who has the flu and they don't tell you, and you find out later, first of all, you get mad at them. But the important thing is always be prepared. When we go anywhere where there's people, like that, you know, maybe the family gathering on Thursday that you might all be having, you don't know who might be sick. You don't know who might be carrying a virus. Make sure you're ready for that. Make sure you take different things to prevent. You know, get your zinc, get your vitamin C. You can get your vitamin C through your fruit and stuff. I have a tendency to get my vitamins through my vegetables, but when I'm out and about, I do that. Another thing that, what's the other thing? Activated charcoal. One of the things we do is when we've been out, even with allergies and stuff like that, we might take an activated charcoal because it breaks down anything that's not good for our lungs and stuff. And it helps us a great deal. And another thing is this here, and I've shared it on another video. This is a respiratory tea blend I make my husband. It has a ton of herbs in it. And I will link that to this video of how I make this. He swears by it. He uses it every night he comes home from work. He has a cup of tea. He's been outside today. We both have been outside a little bit. So we're both going to be having that tea tonight with some honey. I don't put as much as He doesn't, but I don't care, you know, because the honey is good for him. And he swears by it. My husband has never been a tea drinker. The one thing I want to remind you of, I know this is kind of fancy looking. This is what I keep my hand sanitizer in. I am big on washing with soap and water. I prefer hot water, but I prefer at least warm water and soap. Wash your hands. When I come in from the chickens, I wash my hands. And lately what I've been doing is I also use the hand sanitizer after being with the chickens, because I want to make sure that I got it off with the soap and water, and this is just an added boost. And then a little bit later, because that dries my hands out, and this is one that I made, and you can make your own hand sanitizer, but there are also a variety. I'm trying to see if I put one in here. You can get little bottles. You don't need to have a big one unless you like to shower with it. The only people that I see that shower with it are the healthcare providers when they come into the room, because it's just liquidy. And this is something you want to do, is make sure you do that. Brush your teeth, people. Make sure that you're gargling or using dental floss. Make sure your oral health is up there. Please don't forget to brush your teeth. I know we all have busy schedules, but the best thing is to make sure your oral health is good. If you haven't seen a dentist in a while, try to make sure you get out there and do that. Set that appointment up if you can. If you can't afford it, you don't have the insurance coverage. Most insurances cover at least 2 cleanings a year and the exam the doctor gives you. Our old insurance gave me 4 cleanings a year and I loved it. Even though I don't like getting my teeth cleaned, it was great. So I'm having to do a lot of stuff on my own because I only get 2 free ones a year. But I have the option to go in more than 2 times if I pay for it myself. Make sure you drink your water. I cannot say this enough. It's good for your body all over. You want to flush all kinds of impurities out of your body. Drink your water. Drink fruit juices if you don't like your fruit, but be very careful of the sugars. Make sure you're eating a healthy diet. And if you are not eating a healthy diet, make sure you get a quality multivitamin to consume through this year. And sorry, gummies aren't going to do it for you. Because if you're not seeing a dentist, those gummy things, if you're not brushing really, really well, that stuff just sits on your teeth. And I have never, when they first came out, I was like, what the heck are they doing? I love Twizzlers, okay? I'm going to just tell it right there. I don't buy them because I could eat the whole package because I like them that much. I like licorice. Licorice I don't consume that much. I might, if I get really quality licorice candy, I'll have 1 or 2. But I brush my teeth after, and it takes me a while to clean my teeth because that stuff sticks on your teeth, on your enamel. Please make sure that you're taking care of your oral health as well. Hi, honey. Make sure you have somebody you love in your life too that makes you smile the moment you see them. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you today, and I hope it inspires you. You don't have to do everything that I do. These are things that we have on hand because I like to be prepared, and I don't want to go to the doctors. I go to them because I need to, for whatever I need to go to them for, but I don't want to go to them because I got a cold. Reminder, medicine, these things that I'm sharing with you will not heal you amazingly today. You're just going to have to let it go through. You're just going to have to ride it out. There are some things that can help you deal with it. So if you are not that bad without a fever and stuff, you're able to go to work, make sure you're wearing a mask. I mean, I'm not big on wearing masks anymore, but if I'm sick, I would rather wear a mask around people so that they don't get whatever it is that's bothering me. I don't care if it's, asthma where I'm coughing and hacking a lot. But for the most part, I'm not having that with the asthma. I just come in and my chest is full from the allergies. So what else can there, I kind of listed everything. But I do want to know that you kind of like are doing, no, I don't need to know. What I'm sharing with you is You are the one who can make a difference in your health. You know, you can complain to other people and stuff, woe me, but what are you doing about it? Because nobody wants to do it. Have chicken noodle soup on hand. And if you have allergies like I do to the wheat and stuff, you can make a chicken soup without noodles or gluten-free noodles. Just the broth alone is good. Just warm it up. Put in some canned chicken if you don't have any already made. Put that kind of stuff together, and that'll be a good meal. Toast with honey. I mean, I don't know what other ideas that I can give you, but eat healthy and eat natural food, and try to not eat a lot of things with sugar in it, because the sugar is not, honey is different than sugar. I just want to say, because I know some of you might be saying, well, honey is a sugar. There are a lot of sugars out there, and as I mentioned before, I'm going to be sharing a video on the variety of sugars that are out there. But the regular white sugar is not necessarily good for you. I don't care if you have it. I mean, I eat things from time to time with the white sugar in it as well. But you want to limit that more so when you're sick, because you should have the honey. It's better for you, or elderberry syrup or stuff like that. So I can ramble on like a mom, or I can stop talking. So I just wanted to share some things that we do. I hope that some of these ideas are things that make, whoa, that's a great idea. But if I didn't mention something that you do, share it. There's probably some things I do that I forgot to mention, but there are some herbs, there are root vegetables, there are things over the counter that are okay to use to get you through. And, you know, I try to find things that are more natural, but you know what? Sometimes you just need that other thing. So, hey folks, I'm just starting to ramble, so I need to get going. So I hope you have a great day, and may God bless you, and may you stay healthy.